Hi, this is Cecilia from Tarot by Cecilia, and this is your weekly tarot guidance for the week of February the 6th through the 12th of 2017. All I can say, people, is whoa. Okay, we're into February now. We've already been into eclipse season, when we hit that new moon in Aquarius back on January 27th. There's a lot to talk about here today. So we'll see what we have going on. On the 6th, our 0 retrogrades fun will be all over, as Jupiter will retrograde through the 9th of June. On the 7th, Mercury finally back up to full speed. We're going to start to leave behind some of those themes that have been going on since December the 1st, when it entered shadow in Capricorn. Okay, so it'll be moving into Aquarius. Woohoo! Only for a couple weeks, but it's up to speed and it's going to keep moving now. So that's always a good thing. On the 10th, and this is our biggie, full moon, lunar eclipse in Leo. All right, so too much. Most people would love for this to just be a month of love. It's going to be Valentine's Day, right? Wherever you are, if you may celebrate on the 14th, right? It's coming. But there's a lot more going on here regarding commitments, okay? Commitments not just of the love variety, but any type that you have going on. There's some serious conversation that's taking place. People squaring off, looking each other eye to eye and having a talk, okay? I don't see this as negative. Some of it is very positive, but you do need to remember that eclipses will bring up what needs to end as well. Some of it may not be by your own doing. Things may end on their own. One of the things that has been prevalent in a number of the readings that I've done, like your sun sign on Patreon, and different ones like that, Mars and Aries, which is on Patreon, maybe the Love and Finance, which is available to the general public. They've all given indications of a betrayal in the month of February. Now, I don't see it here. I have a feeling it's more likely to crop up in next week's reading or a little further down the way with this one. But, I want to talk about that a little bit because there is truth which needs to be revealed. And this is what's happening. All of this action that's taking place. It's bringing it forth. Now, there are some positive things which are here, allowing you to, choose which direction to take when it comes to new cycles which become available to you. All right. There is a need to, I want to say, I don't want to use the words defend your territory, but to make things more solid. In other words, okay, I've gotten this far. Let's keep this part secure and not lose any foothold here. And with Jupiter retrograding at the beginning of the week and knowing that the eclipse is coming, there is that sense of worry that comes with it, that kind of like waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like, all right, I've done this good so far. I think that's why the protection, the defending oneself, because it's almost like you're defending yourself against the energy and not wanting that to happen. But there's some positives that are available here. If you are able to, where you have your commitments, to stay within your community, to find that little niche that means so much to you. All right? I don't know how else to explain that. Could be family, could be friends, could be online acquaintances. But do not be surprised this week if you encounter, I want to say, radical beliefs, okay? It's kind of like good versus evil, that type of thing, all right? So I want to call it radical beliefs, like two sides can definitely not come together, and there is an immovable fixture in the way. Let me tell you something here about this, because I don't think this stays this way. I think before the month is over, especially that like 11th to the 17th, I think I talk about it in the Love and Finance, that indicates that there is change. So, that whatever's needed, that stick of dynamite, whatever, to remove, not literal stick of dynamite, you know what I'm saying, but that gets this blockage out of the way. This is important because it's as though this person's beliefs are so, I want to say, erratic, not aligned with yours, okay? It's very hard. This is why I think there's this, like staying within your community, within your comfort zone. And that's important until this obstacle is removed, all right? Now, here's our full moon. What I like about the full moon is that it's been a little bit unclear what's going on because everybody, everywhere, at every level, seems to be asking for some sort of clarity. There's a lot of dissension and trying to figure things out. Now, I finally see a coming together, okay, which is indicated in the beginning, but more so now where people are gathering, getting involved, getting things worked out. Because what you've been looking for in your life is motion. But so far, you haven't been able to put together the necessary plan to pull this off. And what it's showing is that this week, with the full moon energies, that you're able to make this work. In other words, you're not going to feel anymore like you're in this all on your own trying to do it, if that makes sense, whatever it is you've been trying to do. So finally, I think the plans are starting to gel and things are formulating here, okay, because everybody's putting in their 2 cents, if indeed you need the opinion of others to help you out or their assistance, because there was that whole, like, I feel like I'm doing this all on my own. We need some teamwork going. This is good. If you've been waiting a long time for teamwork, something is finally making it happen. Okay, now, the beginnings of things. Wow. Success can actually come. This is probably more so, I think, with the energy of Mars and Aries, sending you forward and in a good way. So there is attention, I think, to, fiscal responsibility on your part, how to make sure that you have, I want to say really truly, it's about finance. It's about setting enough money aside. It has something to do with long-term and choices that you're making, okay? Because should indeed you find some amount of abundance coming into your life, and see these new plans and projects that are coming up, they're allowing you to give birth to a new phase. So it's all meshed in together. Remember to allow yourself the time. There's such a thing as too many people. So allow yourself the time to have a little bit of alone time to reassess your goals this week. That is not going to be the easiest thing because the energies are very, very intense this month. And I've been amazed at everything that I've been seeing because this now, and I'm trying to find the best way to explain it that everyone understands it. While we have 2 eclipse seasons this year, this particular one is setting things in motion to make that big change that's coming in August. So if you think that you see a lot happening this month, don't think that it's just going to be, like easy peasy after this. There's a lot that's happening, and we're going to be doing a lot of discussing, retrograde planets and other things coming up as well, and different energies. But your home itself is on your mind in some way and working out the details. Now, I know that I have mentioned that a number of you may be considering an actual move at some point in the future. And, it's a good time to do it, to maybe get that house on the market before the weather changes in some way. But what I notice here that I really truly like, and I find it interesting, is that where, when the week starts and you're trying to choose that direction and you're really thinking, man, kind of like afraid to. You know what I'm saying? The door's open, but do I go do this or do I not do this? I think that when you have that moment of introspection, you're able to take a chance on something that can lead you toward happiness. So these eclipses are going to be a good thing for you. Like I said, they're taking you toward whatever is coming to really change your life in August. But there's a lot of upheaval that will take place this month in order to make that happen, sending everyone off in new directions. So your opinion this month on some things may change, okay? Because I see, people, talking, like two sides. Everywhere I look, there's two sides of the story. And people getting together to discuss these things, meeting, some common ground. And there needs to be common ground in order to make the changes that you want to see happen, okay? Whatever you've been doing, and it feels like it's all this stuff that's been on the back burner, all right? You're going to start to notice it after the full moon, like that payoff that's coming. I think it's a little one, some of your abundance that's coming in, some really positive things are happening. But at the same time, I don't think it's the big, I want to say the grand prize that you're looking for in life, that type of thing. But it's definitely welcome, that's for sure. So if you are beginning to see success with projects through, I want to say through teamwork, you're benefiting from teamwork, okay, and setting forth good plans. So you're going to see that what you're doing with some things is working. This isn't going to be everything. Life's not that perfect, okay? But what I see here, and it remains, all right, is the two opposing sides and the going back and forth and back and forth. Now, one side is a little too abrupt, maybe a little too impulsive, and things you may find are very off balance. Now, what's interesting about this abrupt, impulsive energy is that it is counteracted and met with an extreme force of resistance, okay? So, whatever it is that you're going through here, because it's not showing it as a fight, but it's definitely showing it as, you want to see things balanced in your world, and you're going to make the choices that help you oppose any energies that are not aligned with your best interest. This is a good thing, okay, because really, finally, you're standing up to it. I think before, especially with like Mars and Pisces, it was just kind of like, that wishy-washy, I don't know what to do. And when I look at this, I see Mars in Aries saying, come on, let's do it, all right? And there is definitely a shift in perspective. I want to say, not just your perspective, but the perspective of others. Taking a look at things here, because there are hard times. Now, a necessary victory is coming with regard, I want to say, to balance, okay? Let's say you're wishing and hoping and like, oh my goodness, just come on now, let's make some things happen. There's some definite improvements. But I want to say that it's leading toward June, okay? It's like not expect it all to happen this week, but this week is what sets it off, okay? Like I said, it's after the full moon. I don't remember which audio it's in where I started talking about, because I actually went and Googled it while I was doing the recording. I looked up Mardi Gras, because sometimes I see certain events and I'm going, it's right here. It's when this is happening that this is happening. And that's when the real switch in the month comes in. So you're going to see things, leading up to the full moon that have you wondering, and all of the bickering and the back and forth and whatever's going on. Relationships may be a little tough, but it's after the full moon that you're going to see sides coming together and people trying to work some things out. That would be a wonderful thing, because it feels like you really, really need this in your life in order to, feel good about things. Like here you are trying to figure out your happiness, but things are not, all hunky-dory. And, these eclipses, they bring a great deal of change. Now, the sense that I get here is that some may call you a dreamer. They may say you live life with rose-colored glasses, only hoping for the best. But I see the compassion and the generosity here. But the details, like the facts, they stand in the way of the compassion and the generosity. I do not know what that means. So in other words, you could have a heart of gold, but it feels like there are things that are preventing you from really realizing the true potential of your happiness. Okay? And this period after the full moon is really bringing in, the need for that change. And there's some definite moving on here. All right? That being discontent with the status quo. All right? How do you get from that level of dissatisfaction to being up on your feet and taking charge? There's something going on here. All right? In other words, it's not just about, taking sides or, how you deal with your commitments, because there's so much here about what is happening in your world. Okay? But there are the things that you didn't see coming. And there it is. The deceit, the betrayal. I'm telling you, it comes out. It's like it's in full bloom from, between one moon and the next moon, between the full moon lunar eclipse and the solar eclipse, which will be in Pisces on the 26th. So these revelations are actually what are motivating you to make the moves that you make. I mean, there's some, the result of this is some big life-altering decisions. It's like, I don't know how to put it. I'm thinking from the way I'm looking at this, it's like people, don't allow people to pull the wool over your eyes. This is very, very important. Seek the facts. Find out what the facts are. Whatever this situation is that you have going on. There is that. It's like someone could look you in the eye and not be being honest with you. So be very careful with your associations, okay? A lot of decision making being made, but the truth. So I know I spoke about it before, that seeking of the truth. Yeah. Whew. Revelations. We might not see it this week, but I'm telling you, it's a result of the full moon. And talk about your complacency and, going along and just saying, yeah, I'll go with the flow. Blah, blah, blah. It's not going to be able to happen. It's going to be drastic change. Things are going to, get your attention. Now, what's important here is that you be you, all right? No matter what all these other people are doing to affect your life, you need to remember to be you. We've said this before. And just because there are drastic things going on, I'm not seeing them requiring a drastic response on your part. Keep that in mind. It feels very important for some reason. In other words, when you're looking for stability, it's almost like you're looking for, being rescued, that type of thing. There is the greatest success comes through unconditional love for humanity. Call that crazy, to say it that way. But indeed, it's what it is. Because, otherwise, feeling trapped and betrayed. Yeah, there's a great deal of information that's coming your way. I really want to say it is after the full moon. There's still all this stuff leading up to it in the beginning of the week, and you trying to figure out which way should you go, which side of the road should you be on? Okay, so much is happening. You know, there's a saying, I guess it's like history repeats itself. Okay, so if you take a good look at the past, you can often understand the future. But by, I want to say March, April, May, this is definitely going to, you know, be worth celebrating. And it helps remove stress. Wow. Finding some alternative methods to alleviate it. This is a lot here. This just feels, you know, some very, very intense energy. As I stated in the beginning of the reading, eclipses are about relationships. And this is a month of great change, specifically with relationships. And there are relationships in your life that are in many forms, not just the love thing. That's why I've been saying I don't feel that we're going to be discussing love itself that much this month. And if we are, I hope that that is not where the way you feel betrayed lies. It could be feeling betrayed by anything. All right? But all of these revelations lead to big, positive, creative change. This is what you need to keep in mind. You can't let it get you down. It looks to me here like, all right, if you feel bad about something that happened to you in your life and you're not in agreement with people that you thought you should be in agreement with, find those who, you know, like, it's showing it like a support group type of thing. Anything that helps you, putting that proper team around you. It's like finally having the right people by your side to get the job done. So there is progress that can be made. And this is important to remember. But it's almost like your happiness is at stake here. And, you know, the balance between, the lack of balance, really, I should say, is what's apparent here, between these two opposing forces that both want their own way. All right? You're very much a part of this, but there will be, you know, a way of seeing things differently and approaching them from new angles in order to make your wishes come true. Now, like I said, that can't all happen in 1 week, but you're definitely going to see that there are things leading up to the full moon. And don't forget to check out the full moon on Patreon, because my goodness, that's probably going to be a doozy. Okay, I forget when that's scheduled to come out, but it'll be, looking at how intense all of this feels, that'll be a big one. And, you know, it's that period after. I'm telling you, by the time you get to March, the landscape looks very different and changes in the air. So, yeah, just buckle up, because February is going to be quite a ride, and this is only 1 week, and this is probably the longest weekly I've ever done. So I want to thank you all for listening, and I'll see you here again next week. Take care.